and welcome back to another episode of The Credit Authority. Once again, I am your host, Rhonda Kulch, and I am so glad that you tuned in today because we have amazing guests talking about their stories and different ways that they help Long Island. But before we start our segment, we always want to thank our sponsor. So thank you so much to Equity First. If you are experiencing credit and or financial challenges, either for yourself or for your business, feel free to reach out to any one of their trained professionals. They are bilingual, nationwide, and waiting for your call. So now that we got all the business out of the way, we have two amazing ladies in studio with us right now. We are with Kimberly Henry and Reena Sylvester with Cooking for Long Island Veterans. Hi, ladies.
Hello there.
Hi, honey.
Hi. So, we've obviously have highlighted your organization in the past, and it's so important. We just finished with Ryan Carroll. It's so important that every now and again, we really thank the people that are there to support our community. I think people have time, and I think they want to do the right thing. They just don't necessarily take the time and commit to doing more. And for me, I think that's, it's an understatement, right? Because I know I have 5 kids, I run multiple businesses, I have this show. But Reena, I know I see you probably once a week, twice a week, whether I'm picking up, we're dropping off, we're doing something. So Cooking for Long Island Veterans is an amazing organization. So Reena, you are the founder. Tell us a little bit about your journey and a little bit about Cooking for Long Island Veterans.
Cooking for Long Island Veterans was really created because of the need of the homebound veterans. Think about you have lost your ability to drive. You can no longer go to the grocery store and buy your bananas, or you can no longer go to the grocery store and buy your chicken cutlet. In addition to losing the ability to drive, many of these older veterans have lost the ability to open up a can. They've lost their dexterity. So although there are, maybe some frozen dinners they can eat, we give them really great meals because of the support of all of our restaurants and volunteers, and they are aging with dignity. They're so excited. If this week you did some cooking in Elegant Eating's kitchen, the certified kitchen,
Sure.
And you got, did you get any thank yous for the muffins?
Not yet, but they usually will. I will tell you, and again, for those listening, when you volunteer your time to cook, one of the things that happens is that the actual recipient, the veteran and or the aide or a family member of that veteran will actually reach out and thank you. So over the years that you and I have been working together, I have gotten many text messages and phone calls, and sometimes it's not even about the food. Sometimes we'll donate boots, right? Or we'll donate something of need that you've identified a veteran is lacking, and we'll supply that. And I'll get those phone calls as well.
And we also, if you're cleaning out somebody's house, you're having an estate sale, in addition to giving veterans meals, which they love, sometimes we'll send them with, a nice set of sheets or some, like you said, a new lamp that we see that their lamp is on the fritz or whatever. So it's a real effort by many, many people.
And I think what happens is that, again, it's overlooked. Everybody just assumes somebody else is taking care of it. And, we've talked about this, numerous times, is that, the intentions are good, but you have people who need to cook and you have people that need to deliver, and there's still monetary expenses that go into running an organization. There's insurance, there's gas money. You have things that are still required because this is still a business at the end of the day.
My favorite is 10 hours a week cleaning, $25 an hour, which is a great price. $250 a week we spend on a cleaning person, and we could easily spend more.
Easily.
And I've seen that. So, we also have, Kimberly with us, and I know that you do a lot of volunteer work. How did you get involved with the organization?
Well, social media. My girlfriend Tracy was always posting, and I was like, what is Tracy doing? And then finally one time I either reached out to Tracy or I clicked on the link. I don't remember that first moment. And I went in to, meet with Reena, and I was like, oh, I can help, but I can't commit. I'm not a committer just yet. I've got too many things. I've got kids. And I literally fell in love with doing it. I would, deliver.
She also fell in love with one of the veterans, but that's another story.
I did. He's my sweet. My husband and I, I'm like, he just, he lost his phone or his phone died, whatever it was. He goes, just get him a phone. And I got him one of those kind of like burner phones, and we paid for it. And then the veterans, our establishment paid for his, and now he has his own. Still uses our phone, but he pays for himself. the bills. But he's just all of them. Some of them you go in and visit with, this couple in Bohemia. I would never think of just dropping off the food. I have to go inside. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to visit with them. She goes, next time I'm making you tea, his wife. And they like the company. It's not all about just the food or just the things. It's the human compassion part. So I volunteered initially just to help a little bit out of guilt and curiosity, or I'm not sure which came first, but...
Well, you want to be a good example for your children, too.
Right.
That's part of it.
And it's funny when you said about the phone calls, because my friends, we could be anywhere, anytime, and I used to never pick up the phone if it was a number I didn't recognize. I'm like, yep, go to voicemail. But now I know better, because now I know that it's a veteran, or there's a good chance it's a veteran calling me to say thank you. And then there's more conversation. Oh, you're welcome. And what branch are you? And chit chat. And it's the human connection as well. So
think about how few people they have to talk to during the day. It really makes their day. It might make our day too, but it makes their day also.
I think there's also this misconception. When we're speaking about cooking for Long Island veterans, these are not necessarily always veterans that cannot afford to cook meals. These are just veterans that no longer possess the ability to cook for themselves.
They no longer possess the ability to go to the store, to stand up in the kitchen. They forget how to light a stove. Their memory, their cognitive abilities are diminished.
So in a scenario where you have a veteran that has maybe financial capabilities but lost the other capabilities, are they allowed to, or do you request that they help participate in the offset of the cost?
We did our research and we followed, I don't like to use Meals on Wheels, but it's true. They're the most well-known company out there. And Meals on Wheels in Three Village asks for $40 a week. We ask for a $25 a week donation. If they say they don't want to give the donation, we say okay, but we do ask for some financial backup. We welcome additional donations, and you can always adopt a veteran financially, or you can cook for them. We do plan for the first time this year in February to close for a week. And I'm going to plug another charity. I saw that Angels of Long Island, they closed for a month a couple of years ago. And I'm like, we're going to close for a week. We're going to close for a week. And I haven't done it yet. We're doing it this February. We're closing for a week.
And I'm still stuck on the $25 a week being a problem, because I spend more than that on one meal. Tell everybody, how many meals are you preparing for a week per veteran?
So the last 2 nights of my week, on Tuesday night I was at a Kiwanis meeting, and last night I was at a Ronald Reagan Republican meeting, and I did at one of the meetings happen to have in my pocketbook a menu. So they get 3 breakfast, 3 lunch, 3 dinner. This week they got homemade oatmeal, homemade French toast, and frittata. Then they got pulled pork, orange chicken, pizza. They also got chili. They got chicken marsala. And I believe they got something else from Elegant Eating or Bliss. So they got 3 hearty meals. They got some bananas that was donated from Bella Poultry. They got juice. We have stopped giving milk for a few weeks because of the heat. They get a loaf of bread from Audrey's Bakery. They get some kind of cake. And then
yogurts,
bars that you just gave me, like strawberry granola bars. We throw those in. Right.
Thanks, Deb. Angels of Long Island. I think what happens too, we should probably talk about that for a minute. Not-for-profits, they collaborate. So,
absolutely.
What happens is you're saying, hey, thanks, Rhonda, you brought us granola bars. But what happens is that I also work with Angels of Long Island. And there are times that Debbie has an abundance of chips and granola bars. And as silly as it sounds, sometimes it's croutons or salad dressing. And those are items that maybe she can't use in abundance, but I will pick them up from Debbie and I drive them out to you. And we go ahead and say, hey, right? So what did I do the other day? I picked up blueberry muffin mix and I made you 100 muffins.
You went to the Elegant Eating and you brought them the croutons. And then when I'm short dinners or salads, I might give them all the extra lettuces I have. We have a couple of people like yourself that have some animals. When our produce is going a little bit, I tell the developmentally disabled groups, which help us.
They visited,
and,
right?
Right. They bring the lettuce that's a little brown, or the bananas, or no avocados, too high in fat.
It's the perishables that, unfortunately, you didn't have the ability to get to the veterans in time. But somebody like myself, I have a hobby farm, right? So I have my chickens and goats and pigs and sheep and rabbits and, the other 100, animals that flock my property. But, we share. And instead of allowing it to go to waste, you will donate that to me. And in return, I analyze, okay, you know what, had I bought this may have been $25, $30. And then what happens? I go back out and I'm purchasing other items, or we're finding other ways that we all coordinate so that it's a win-win for everybody that's involved. So once again, right now, do not move your dial. We are speaking with Kimberly Henry and Reena Sylvester, Cooking with Long Island Veterans. We do need to take a quick commercial break. Once again, I am your host, Rhonda Kulch, and you are tuned in to the Credit Authority. Hang tight. Don't move. It is a good thing that you did not move that dial, because we are tuned in today speaking with Kimberly Henry and Reena Sylvester of Cooking with Long Island Veterans. Once again, I am your host and you are tuned in to the Credit Authority. But today we are talking about philanthropy and getting involved and staying engaged with our community. And it's so important that if this organization is not the right fit for you, that if you have the time and the resources, that you find an organization that does align with who you are and where you currently are as a person, whether it be for yourself or for your family. It's a great experience if you are raising children, and nothing better than giving back to your community. So with that said, we were speaking about all the ways that people can get involved and how the world goes round and how we collaborate with other organizations. And most importantly, what I want to speak about is you have an exciting event, because you are not-for-profit, so you do need to do fundraisers. You have an event coming up in October.
We're so excited about the event.
Tell us a little bit about it.
So in the fall, we were just kind of looking at everything and thinking, should we throw our hands up in the air? How do we continue to do this? $25 a week does not really cover our expenses. And we actually did a drive, I guess, asking people to be monthly donors. And we had got a few of those, but this one woman, Diane Poulis, her husband is a Port Authority PBA member, and she's like, I cannot let you guys reduce your outreach. I'm going to help you. And then she reached out to her friends. So she reached out to two of her friends who are also affiliated with the Port Authority, and those men, their wives, are running the event for us, and they're going to call it a Hometown Heroes Gala. And one of our Hometown Hero honorees is here. We picked 3 people that really made us more successful in our tenure as a charity. We picked Russ Regan, who is an Islip resident, and we picked 2 Three Village residents, Kimberly Henry and Tracy Bogish.
I love that. And of course, Kimberly's here with us. We don't want to put her on the spot. So we'll wait to put you on the spot.
Appreciate it.
The event in itself. So it's a gala. Tell us the date and the location.
So it's October 6th, 2023 on the Friday. And we're going to have it at the newly renovated Smithtown Landing Country Club, which is run by one of our advisory board members. He took over a 15-year lease called Donato Panico. And he is so excited about it. We're so excited about it. We have a great band called Soapbox Messiah. We have a photographer. We have some sponsored tickets for veterans. Right now we have 12 veterans that are coming as people's guests. Several people have written a check out and they're like, invite a veteran. So anyone listening, they can either attend themselves or they can sponsor a veteran. And you guys have met some of the veterans. They're so, so grateful for a fancy night out like that.
We're providing, I think sometimes it's the opportunity, it's the experience, and again, it's allowing the connection. I think what happens is a lot of times the veterans, you and I have talked about this before, they don't have the opportunity because they are, again, quote unquote, homebound. So when they have the opportunity where their aide or a family member is able to help assist them get out of the house and have an evening out, it's not just about them, but it's about everybody else in the room that is touched by their story. right? And touched by their generosity for what they've done for us as a country.
Their humbleness, they're so humble.
Oh,
all
they're
of them.
fantastic. And they love to tell their stories, right? And I think that, our next generation doesn't connect enough, at least here on Long Island, right? Regionally, I think that's important to say. Regionally here, I think our veterans don't speak up enough so that the next generation of kids really understands what war was back in the day, right? Or what serving meant back in the day. I think that our country's been a little disconnected. And because of that, there's not as much respect for the military as there once was.
There's no awareness. People don't even know we're always at war. Constantly we have people, men and women, deployed fighting for our country.
And it's sad. So I know that you are here with us today, Kimberly, and congratulations on being an honoree at the event. Tell us a little bit about some of the things that you've done for the organization that perhaps listeners that are listening today might be inspired by, and maybe they'll pick up, and help out as well.
All right. It started, I was a, PTA mom, and I, just a supporter of my kids' different organizations, and my daughter was a cheerleader. And if you ever had to get to nationals, you had to do fundraising, because no cheerleader.
There's a lot of grit.
Oh my goodness, there's so much fundraising. So once my daughter graduated, and I was like, well, I have this knowledge. I know ways of, great ways of fundraising. So that's kind of my, my biggest contribution I did at the beginning was, well, let me do some fundraising. And I was like, it's so easy to run the football pool. And we ended up running them first it was Super Bowl, then the next year it was Thanksgiving and the Super Bowl. But fundraising, like my idea was the football pool, which of course everybody knows the boxes. But then this year we said, the basketball thing. What's that called when they do the brackets?
Yeah, Nancy did March Madness.
Right. We had somebody else do a March Madness thing. So it's bringing, you might have an idea, if somebody out there has an idea of a way that we could generate money to help fund this organization. It can't keep running as it is. It would be a shame for it to have to close just because we can't fund it enough with our, with the generation, the donations that we get. So maybe there's something out there. For me, it was the fundraiser of the boxes, but there's so many other ideas I'm sure out there that creative people would have.
And I think what happens too with social media, right? Think about it like this, and Reena and I have talked about this before, and I've done this with other organizations. I donate my vacation home all the time. Right? So I have a property called The Haven, 5 bedrooms, 6 bathroom beach house, upstate New York. And, we get just under $500 a night. And I will donate a week. And I will say to Reena, go sell boxes. Go get somebody to sell a box, $20 a box, 3 for $50. When you have 100 boxes, at least that you're guaranteed to make $1,000 or more dollars, depending upon your per ticket price.
Sometimes we raffle it off, or sometimes we auction it off.
Correct.
So there might be a bidder. I know that at Cigar Night somebody bid for it, and
which is
great.
Fantastic. And what happens is I'm willing to give up the time, right? Because it's important to me to give back. But I can't do everything. So again, we rely on either volunteers, I'll say our listeners, somebody like yourself, that has a connection to their own little niche. So if you're a soccer mom or a PTA mom, or you're involved in an organization, or maybe you're somebody that works in an office that has 50 employees or 100 employees, there's so many easy ways to make a difference and create impact. And I think not enough people it goes back to everybody's intentions are good and everybody's lives are busy. But I challenge somebody to take the time to do something for somebody else instead of yourself. There's a level of gratitude and a level of fulfillment, I think, that goes hand in hand with that.
So clever. There's so many different clever ways that you can give back. If you have season tickets to something, you can give us 1 week. If you have a boat, you can take people on a boat ride. I'm going to say a real quick story. I was the honoree one year, and some Marines flew in from all over the United States, not all over the country. And one of them, the next day we went out on a fishing boat, and he had young kid, Alberto, and he had gone to war 4 times and had never gone fishing. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So of course he was like, this is my first time on a party boat fishing. This is
wow.
This is crazy. Things that we take for granted. So there's so many different ways. If you want to take a young Marine fishing on your boat, you want to take them out on a sunset cruise, I will find you we don't only deal with homebound veterans. We deal with young veterans that need help writing a resume, or they might need a little help with the car repair. I will find you a veteran to help.
I love that. There's so much messaging that goes where it comes to doing volunteer work. And again, today's show, not just with you, but, again, we had Ryan Carroll on earlier, is all about just being able to give back to your community. And I think, again, I keep saying it, everybody's intentions are good. I don't know what just stops them. A lot of times people feel that by getting engaged with a not-for-profit, it means that they have to dedicate and give up dollars. There is more to be said by giving up your time and sharing the messaging and going on social media, spreading the word. People can over and over again make larger impacts if they learn how to be more engaged with their community. So with that said, once again, we are with Kimberly Henry and Reena Sylvester, Cooking for Long Island Veterans. I appreciate you tuning in to today's show. I hope that you've been inspired. I hope that you realize that dedicating your time is just as important as writing a check. Until next time, stay safe. We'll chat next week.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.